budget gap. Waymo recalling more than 1,200 of its self-driving cars. The U.S. Department of Transportation says this is for a software update after several minor crashes. That comes after federal investigators looked into collisions with chains, gates, and other road barriers. And Messi mania has hit the Bay Area. The San Jose Earthquakes are hosting soccer superstar Lionel Messi and his team Inter Miami at PayPal Park tonight. The game kicks off at 7:30. Not clear if Messi will play. The average ticket price about $500. I'm Ann Makovic with the minutes.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Key school programs could be on the chopping block in Oakland. Now parents are left scrambling to figure out what comes next.
I think she would be devastated. I would be devastated.
The vital programs on the chopping block and what's being done to try to save them. Plus, hear from soccer fans waiting hours in the South Bay just to get a glimpse of one of the biggest sports stars in the world.
I mean, he's the soccer pope in the balcony, just saying hi to all the fans below him was something that was incredible to see. This is a big deal.
And a group of seniors in the South Bay is ready for their close-up. How a film festival is spotlighting the ways they give back to their community. Thanks for joining us this morning. Let's get over to our first alert weather forecast. Meteorologist Jessica Burt's tracking a warm-up this week and then even a bigger one next week.
We are gearing up for some warm temperatures this afternoon all throughout our inland spots. Antioch today topping off at 80 degrees, and it was just 2 days ago. That exact same community, they were sitting in the 60s. Now we still have 60s along the coast, so there's a 20-degree spread right there when it comes to our daytime highs throughout the bay. We have 70s up into the North Bay throughout wine country this afternoon, 70s into Fremont, stretched all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley. So a pretty mild day for us today, a very spring-like day for us today too. And we're only going to warm up more as we head into the next couple days right around the corner. A couple things to mention, we'll see some passing clouds this afternoon. Wind gusts today gearing up for around 20 to 25 mile per hour winds just into our lunchtime hours today near Bodega Bay. That gets breezier into the evening hours tonight, and San Francisco will top off to around a 25 mile per hour wind gust moving in from offshore as we head into the evening hours. And by tomorrow morning, the winds start to die down once again. Now, the next 6 to 10 days, better yet, the next 8 to 14 days, we're gearing up for drier than normal conditions widespread throughout the state of California. This is issued by the Climate Prediction Center. We have some high pressure parts just offshore. It's kind of been the reason why the storm tracks have been moving to the north of us. And it's also the reason why we've been warming up too. I mean, day by day, as we head into the next couple days at least, we'll gear up for some 80s in the forecast, widespread throughout our inland areas, including the North Bay and the Santa Clara Valley. We'll dip down a little bit for Saturday, and then we have even a bigger warm up as we head into next week with upper 80s as early as Monday heading into next Tuesday. But that's our inland spots. I mean, you head over into the Bay, a lot more mild. We're talking about 70s as we head into next week. But hey, we still get some sunshine too. It'll be a beautiful, dry, spring-like forecast for us. Not a drop of rain in sight for now, but we will keep you updated on that if that changes. For now, back to you.
Parents and students in the Oakland Unified School District are bracing for more cuts. After school and summer programs could be slashed by 80% starting next fall. Those after school programs are crucial for a lot of parents who depend on that care for their kids. Our Amanda Harry caught up with one mother who says losing that help could be disastrous for her family.
Celi Ramos Vega's daughter, Juliana, has attended Laurel Elementary School since she was in kindergarten. She's now in second grade. Juliana has spent nearly every afternoon in the after-school program.
My kid's favorite part of the day is after school. She literally cries almost every day when it's time to go home. So I know that she loves it.
The program is run by the community organization Safe Passages. It includes academic tutoring, enrichment services, and sports programs. Juliana thrives on the developmental opportunities it provides.
My favorite part of the after-school program is the activities.
But it may all be coming to an end after this school year. At a March 26 school board meeting, members passed an alternative budget solutions resolution by a 4-3 vote. The resolution froze over $8 million allocated for after-school programs. Ramos Vega is a single mother and says she relies on the help.
I think she would be devastated. I would be devastated. I would have to probably figure out another form of enrichment activity for my kid. leaving work, right, early probably to figure out until I can accommodate either childcare or another after-school program. Financially, it would impact me majorly.
District 4 Board Director Mike Hutchinson took to his Facebook page to express his disapproval of the vote, saying, quote, "The school board was advised by staff not to approve the resolution, and we were all made aware of the damage this would cause. The only way to fix the situation is for the board to vote to rescind their alternative budget solutions resolution. Everyone should demand that Brohard, Batchelor, Lotta, and Williams fix the problem they knowingly created." He says on Wednesday he'll introduce a resolution to rescind the budget cuts with District 7 Director Clifford Thompson. The cuts range from 50% to 80% of each school's after-school budget. CEO of Safe Passages, Josefina Alvarado Mena, says Laurel would lose 80% of its funding, meaning they would only be able to support 20% of the more than 300 kids currently in the program.
There's no process for that, and we don't want to be in the position of having to decide which kid needs after school the most. All kids need after school programming, and there's so many communities in Oakland where after school is really a lifeline for kids and families.
8 other community organizations, including East Bay Agency for Children, Youth Together, and Oakland Kids First, would be affected. There isn't an exact number yet of how many kids would be impacted, but Ramos Vega believes it's too many, and the decision needs to change.
It's going to affect a huge number of families, and I know it's not just this school, it's district-wide, so it's a mistake that should not have been made, and they need to correct it immediately.
We reached out to the Oakland Unified School District to get their comment on this, and they have not gotten back to us. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie announcing a complete revamp of the city's emergency portal. The new website just launched this morning. It comes in the wake of some close calls with natural disasters like last year's tsunami warning. Of course, the tsunami never came, but this revamp has been in the making. The incident then helped spur the city's public response, knowing that needed some tweaking. Our Lauren Tom's got an exclusive preview with the city's Director of Emergency Management, Mary Ellen Carroll, encouraging everyone to get prepared now.
We have to try to push out more information and make it easily available to the public before the event happens. Of course, when the event happens, we're in go mode, we're pushing out information, but in order to really help them, we're providing this information so people can help themselves.
Well, the site has interactive hazard maps for tsunamis, floods, and heat warnings. It's a 5-step process, including signing up for the alert system, making a disaster plan, gathering supplies, getting connected, and training for emergency response. And it's not just for people in San Francisco, but anyone across the Bay Area. Mary Ellen says thinking about the next disaster is, of course, the last thing people want to be doing, but being prepared may save lives if we get ahead of it now.
In a major emergency, whether that's an earthquake, a big storm, or anything else that happens, resources will be scarce, and we're going to be needing to get to the people who are in the most dire situation. But that doesn't mean that a lot of people are going to feel very helpless.
This new system replaces the last website that was about 10 years old. The new site is sf.gov/readysf. And you can sign up for the alerts by texting your zip code to 888-777. It is a must-win game tonight for the Warriors. They're going to need to beat the Timberwolves in Minnesota, or their season is over. The team is once again going to be without Steph Curry. He was officially ruled out of Game 5 because of that strain in his left hamstring. The Dubs are down 3-1 in the Western Conference semifinals. Tip-off at 6:30 in Minnesota. Thrive City will host another watch party. One of the biggest sports stars in the world could take the field tonight at PayPal Park in San Jose. The Earthquakes are hosting Inter Miami, and that means Lionel Messi is in town. There he is. World Cup champ making a surprise appearance at Santana Row in San Jose, stepping out onto that balcony, and he sent fans into a frenzy with just a wave. Yeah, last night, hundreds of fans packed the sidewalk outside the team hotel for a glimpse of Messi. Crowds cheering as he boarded the team bus for practice. Messi could make his Major League Soccer debut right here in California. Our Kevin Coe was outside of the block party in San Jose, where he caught up with some dedicated Messi fanatics.
All week, hundreds of fans have camped out at Santana Row in San Jose, all for a chance to see this.
Messi is like a new pope, basically. I mean, he's the soccer pope in the balcony, just saying hi to all the fans below him was something that was incredible to see. This is a big deal. I mean, this is a guy who never comes to the Bay Area. He hasn't been here in 10 years almost.
Fabian Renkel is a Bay Area-based soccer writer who's been covering every step of Lionel Messi's journey to San Jose.
I mean, if you look at Tom Brady's following, if you look at LeBron James, Steph Curry's, Otani's, really, if you even put them all together, they're still not going to touch Lionel Messi's following. I mean, this guy's global.
America is still catching up to the world's obsession with soccer, the most popular sport on planet Earth. But hundreds of soccer and Messi fans traveled to San Jose, some who went to great lengths just for a chance to see the soccer legend.
We're skipping physics class to be here right now. Hopefully my teacher understands.
I'm skipping math class for this, so Miss Benson, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry, but I hope you understand.
The highly anticipated soccer match is a sign of things to come in San Jose, according to Mayor Matt Mahan. The city hopes to take advantage of the excitement around the World Cup, coming to Levi Stadium in 2026.
Downtown San Jose should be known as a destination, as Silicon Valley's urban center, a place where we can provide more housing, more jobs, more entertainment, more things to do. And it's great to see that our city's on that path. This opportunity to host one of the world's greatest sports legends of all time is an incredible honor and opportunity.
Back at Santana Row, it was clear how the love for Messi crossed generational lines.
I really love his dribbling.
Like how he dribbles, like it looks so easy how he does it.
He's a lot shorter than the other players, so it seems like kind of like an underdog situation.
No matter why fans love Messi, they aren't missing a chance to be close to greatness.
This is like catching Haley's comment. Like it's so odd that Messi even comes to the West Coast. There was a time last year when Miami had to play Vancouver and he didn't even travel. So him making an appearance here is something that we shouldn't take for granted, and we should definitely catch a glimpse of him playing, or even if you have time to pass by the hotel to say hi to him.
The match is coming up tonight at 7:30 at PayPal Park, and if you're looking for tickets, be prepared to shell out. Cheapest ones available on Ticketmaster right now are $488 each. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area, homeowners across California are going to be paying even more for insurance after State Farm gets the green light to raise rates.
Frankly, I feel furious.
Why a wildfire survivor says State Farm is dragging its feet. Plus, San Francisco's mayor lays out his plan to boost the police force, but not everyone is sold.
If I ever need to call the police, sometimes it takes a really long time for them to come or even show up.
And golden years honored on the silver screen. We're going to take you inside the film festival in the South Bay celebrating seniors for their charity work.
In the Bay Area, a new WNBA franchise is taking flight. Catch this first-in-a-lifetime inaugural season as the Golden State Valkyries play live on KPIX and Pix Plus.
We're warming up as we head into the rest of this week's forecast. 70s turning into 80s just from today into our forecast tomorrow for our inland spots. We'll hold on tight to 80s heading into our Friday forecast, and then we're flirting back and forth with 70s turning into 80s as we head into next week's forecast. But you look at next Tuesday, it's going to be a warm one right around the corner as we head into next week with upper 80s, potentially some 90s off into the East Bay. We make our way over into the Bay. It's a little bit more mild when it comes to that warm up. We will see some upper 70s around the corner, but for now, we're flirting back and forth with upper 60s and lower 70s.
California's largest home insurer just got the green light to raise rates. State Farm says it needed that rate hike to stay afloat after the deadly wildfires in Los Angeles County. The state's insurance commissioner gave State Farm the official approval for an emergency rate hike of 17%. That came after a judge signed off on the request weeks after a hearing in Oakland. Our John Ramos explains how the ruling is likely to impact customers and the insurance market as a whole.
California's insurance crisis is affecting all areas of the state, but if there are places where the full depth of the problem can be felt, it's in towns like Orinda. In many places, the trees grow over the road and homes are nestled in the forested hillsides. People pay a lot for the beauty, but lately there's been something else on their minds.
This is now part of the discussion when it's location, location, location. So now part of the location part doesn't mean you're near the schools and the amenities and all. It means, can I get out if there's a fire?
Tom Stack is a real estate agent in Orinda. He says just about every aspect of his business is now being driven by insurance, or rather the lack of it.
What we know on a micro level in this area here is that all of Orinda has been cut off, swaths of Lafayette have been canceled, and with State Farm having the largest footprint in town, if they were to leave, this would be a crisis beyond definition.
He says one of his clients was ordered by his insurance company to put stairs and handrails on a hill behind his house based solely on satellite images.
And all he did was say yes. It's going to cost him 20 grand. He said yes. He did not want to lose his insurance over it. So we are at their mercy right now.
Following the LA firestorms, State Farm requested and is now being granted a 17% emergency rate hike for every policyholder in the state, and 15% for renters and 38% for rental dwellings. In his ruling, the judge referred to the rate hike as a rescue mission to stabilize State Farm and safeguard policyholders. And almost immediately, Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara adopted the ruling, with the increase to begin on June 1st. In a statement, he said, quote, "I am balancing all the facts. Protecting all State Farm customers and the integrity of our insurance market is an urgent matter," end quote. But Grace Regulano doesn't feel protected at all.
I'm frankly infuriated that Commissioner Lara is standing with the insurance companies who are profiting off our crisis.
Regulano lives in Pasadena near the Eaton fire. Her home survived, but now has such toxic levels of asbestos and lead that she cannot move back. She says State Farm has dragged its feet in paying claims, claiming its California affiliate company is broke, while ignoring the assets of its massive parent company.
I mean, frankly, I feel furious. I'm furious because we cannot rate hike our way out of this climate change caused insurance crisis. I'm also an accountant, and I'm shocked that there's no explanation for why State Farm's parent company, which has $194 billion with a B in surplus and reserves, needs this rate hike.
It may simply be a matter of political leverage. State Farm is too big to fail.
We don't know what they're going to do. They may wake up one day and say, we're out of California. And if that happens, I'll be talking to you again. It'll be awful beyond words.
When other companies have already left the state, like a good neighbor, State Farm is still there. But the neighborhood is about to get a lot more expensive.
There will still be another hearing for State Farm in October to show evidence of its financial situation. If a judge rules that the rate hikes are not justified, customers could be refunded. In the meantime, the emergency rate hike is going to go into effect starting in June. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie laid out his plans to boost the city's police force. That includes bringing back retired officers and recruiting civilians. Mayor Lurie is hoping boosting the force will help continue progress in tackling crime. But as Lauren Toms reports, not everyone is convinced.
In a city that struggled to retain and recruit police officers, Mayor Daniel Lurie unveiled his plan to address the department's chronic understaffing levels. Lindsay Prisbel, a bartender at our bar in Lower Polk, says she welcomes any boost to the force that could increase police response times when she needs it most.
I know that if I ever need to call the police, sometimes it takes a really long time for them to come or even show up. And I mean, I don't want to have to do that, but you never know. Working in this industry, sometimes you need to call 911.
SFPD is still 500 officers short of the recommended staffing level, with the response time for medium priority calls at 26 minutes, according to city data. Mayor Lurie's executive order aims to entice retired officers to return to duty to patrol the streets and help with special events. They'd be allowed to collect a paycheck for their service in addition to their retirement. The mayor also plans to look at moving sworn officers off assignments that can be performed by civilian staff.
We will cut red tape in the hiring process and bring on new officers and deputies faster. And we'll partner with the private sector to strengthen recruitment, marketing, and outreach.
The initiative comes in the wake of a recent audit that found police overtime had doubled over a 5-year span ending in 2023. Outgoing Chief Bill Scott says the actions will help cut costs as the city faces a nearly $1 billion budget deficit.
We have been living on overtime, and that is not sustainable. We're fortunate that we have the overtime and that the board and the mayor has granted us that funding to fill in the gaps, but we know that's not a sustainable model.
Lurie touted stats that in the last 4 months, overall crime in the city was down 28% year over year. It comes as officers have acquired new surveillance technology and expanded powers on the streets. While Lurie hopes boosting the force will help continue that progress, not everyone is sold. Anya Worley-Zigman with the People's Budget Coalition says adding officers at a time when crime is down contradicts policies in place to help save money in the long term.
It's really one of shock and dismay that the mayor is considering investing a lot more resources when we've been hearing over and over again that we are in a critical budget deficit and that there's billions of dollars that are going to need to get cut from our budget. To hear that we're investing in a new initiative goes completely against the hiring freeze that we've been hearing about, against the massive cuts that we've been preparing for as well.
And for Lindsay, she hopes the expected boost in officers can also help improve the morale of officers already on the force.
They're still people. They're not, I mean, they are police officers, but they are people and they can only do so much. And as long as, if we can keep the crime down, great. But it is nice to know that there are more police officers out there keeping us safe.
The initiative also calls to hire 200 more sheriff's deputies. So how is the city going to afford this? Mayor Lurie says that is going to be revealed in the city's budget proposal, which she's going to release in the coming weeks. Still ahead, a different sort of film festival in the South Bay, how they are celebrating some local seniors who are spending their later years supporting their communities.
I was so impressed with what they do and how they care about the people they serve. I'm sorry.
Well, forget the Oscars or the Golden Globes. The South Bay Film Festival is shining the spotlight on seniors for their work giving back to their communities. Our Len Ramirez has a look.
Well, this has all of the glitz and the glamour that you would expect of a film festival, but this event is really special, showcasing some of the good works that are going on behind the scenes in some of the Bay Area's biggest senior living centers.
How's it going? Yeah.
The stars of the films made their way down the red carpet, some of them needing a helping hand along the way, but all of them dressed in their finest, pausing midway for the paparazzi. And cutting through the crowd was Mary Lou Bradley, whose acts of kindness were shown in the film From Our Pantry to Their Plate. It's a documentary short about how the residents of Belmont Village, San Jose, volunteer at the South Valley Fish Food Pantry, which serves groceries to families in need.
We had taken a trip there, and so we got to talk with the staff, and they showed us around the facility, and I was so impressed with what they do and how they care about the people they serve. I'm sorry.
Making the film was close to the heart for Mary Lou, a retired social worker from San Mateo County who obviously still cares deeply about helping people in need. Cinematographer and editor Lisa Newhouse says that's a big part of why the film festival came to be.
Getting to watch the residents give back to the community was absolutely amazing. It doesn't matter their age. They've all been able to have so many life experiences that they understand the importance of community and giving back.
Seniors in several Belmont Village communities in the Bay Area and Arizona made films that spotlight their year-round philanthropic work and the nonprofits they partner with, including schools, food pantries, homeless services, and women's shelters.
Angels, our resident volunteer group.
We noticed that when we share the stories of what our residents are doing, it can inspire others to participate. And so we were hoping that younger generations would be inspired to give back and participate as well.
I think it's absolutely amazing that they're providing this amount of food for people that don't have it.
When Mary Lou's movie premiered on the screen, she watched with her friends and neighbors, now leading ladies in their long overdue debut. And as the credits rolled, there were feelings of pride and accomplishment for not only a great film, but a life filled with giving to others.
Sister communities in San Diego and Scottsdale, Arizona will also be holding film festivals to highlight seniors in those areas. Coming up in our next half hour here on CBS News Bay Area, a lot of Bay Area businesses are holding back in the midst of a trade war, but one East Bay warehouse is booming.
The demand is so high, we just keep expanding.
We are going to take you inside a so-called bonded warehouse where overseas shipments can be stored without paying tariffs. Plus, could the housing market use a matchmaker? The Bay Area startup taking a different approach when it comes to addressing the housing crisis.
It doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like a chore to lend a helping hand.
It gives me back my freedom, and he's great to have around, and he laughs at my jokes.
I'm Ann Makovic, and this is The Minute. State Farm raising its home insurance rates. The state's insurance commissioner approved a 17% emergency rate hike yesterday. A judge called it a necessity to measure and stabilize the State Farm's financial position after the LA wildfires, the increase going into effect in June. Eric and Lyle Menendez, one step closer to freedom. A judge in LA resentenced the brothers to life with the possibility of parole. The judge says that does not mean the brothers will be released. They were convicted in 1996 for the murders of their parents in 1989. And a highly anticipated soccer game in San Jose today. The San Jose Earthquakes hosting Inter Miami at PayPal Park. Fans waiting to see if one of the biggest stars of soccer, Lionel Messi, will play. All kicks off at 7:30. Average ticket price around $500. I'm Ann Makovic with The Minute.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
We are gearing up for some warm temperatures this afternoon all throughout our inland spots. Antioch today topping off at 80 degrees, and it was just 2 days ago. That exact same community, they were sitting in the 60s. Now we still have 60s along the coast, so there's a 20-degree spread right there when it comes to our daytime highs throughout the bay. We have 70s up into the North Bay throughout wine country this afternoon, 70s into Fremont, stretched all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley. So a pretty mild day for us today, a very spring-like day for us today too. And we're only going to warm up more as we head into the next couple days right around the corner. A couple things to mention, we'll see some passing clouds this afternoon. Wind gusts today gearing up for around 20 to 25 mile per hour winds just into our lunchtime hours today near Bodega Bay. That gets breezier into the evening hours tonight, and San Francisco will top off to around a 25 mile per hour wind gust moving in from offshore as we head into the evening hours. And by tomorrow morning, the winds start to die down once again. Now, the next 6 to 10 days, better yet, the next 8 to 14 days, we're gearing up for drier than normal conditions widespread throughout the state of California. This is issued by the Climate Prediction Center. We have some high pressure parts just offshore. It's kind of been the reason why the storm tracks have been moving to the north of us. And it's also the reason why we've been warming up too. I mean, day by day, as we head into the next couple days at least, we'll gear up for some 80s in the forecast, widespread throughout our inland areas, including the North Bay and the Santa Clara Valley. We'll dip down a little bit for Saturday, and then we have even a bigger warm up as we head into next week with upper 80s as early as Monday heading into next Tuesday. But that's our inland spots. I mean, you head over into the Bay, a lot more mild. We're talking about 70s as we head into next week. But hey, we still get some sunshine too. It'll be a beautiful, dry, spring-like forecast for us. Not a drop of rain in sight for now, but we will keep you updated on that if that changes. For now, back to you.
Well, President Trump has arrived in Qatar for the second leg of his Middle East trip. This morning, he signed another set of agreements with the Qatari government, including a $200 billion Boeing deal. Boeing's CEO was there for the signing ceremony and called it the largest jet order in the company's history. President Trump is the first U.S. president to pay an official visit to Qatar. That all comes as President Trump plans to accept a luxury jet from the Qatari royal family to serve as a presidential plane. Trump argues the aircraft is a gift, but many feel concerned over ethical, legal, and security questions. Trump says Air Force One is almost 40 years old, and he had signed an executive order in his first term to upgrade it. Back here at home, while many U.S. businesses are preparing for tough times because of Trump's tariffs, it's not the case for everybody. One local warehouse in Fremont saw an explosion in activity recently. Our Kenny Choi takes us inside a so-called bonded warehouse where the trade war means good business.
Francisco Garcia is the founder of Lynx Logistics, a high-tech security warehouse in Fremont. This fenced-off section, a U.S. Customs and Border Protection bonded warehouse where goods can be stored without paying tariffs until they're taken out, is a hot commodity.
The demand is so high, we just keep expanding.
As containers from around the world make their way to ports along the West Coast and eventually trucked to warehouses, Garcia is in a position to expand its already existing bonded warehouse.
By this time next week, this will be filled to the rim, and we're increasing this by 200% capacity.
Forklift operators are quickly moving inventory to make more space for the expansion. Lynx says it has been approved by U.S. Customs to triple its bonded space to 15,000 square feet.
We're installing new racks. We're gonna quadruple stack U.S. Customs bonded pallets.
Importers typically use bonded warehouses to bring in goods from one country before shipping them to another country without paying tariffs. But the current trade environment is changing the way these spaces are now being used. Shane Salazar is CEO of Lynx Logistics.
This is allowing companies to stretch their cash in terms of not paying for the entire shipment at entry to U.S. Customs and paying as they touch it from down to just a carton or a pallet.
Industrial property broker Danny Ream of JLL, a commercial real estate and investment management company, says inquiries for bonded spaces went from 1 to 2 calls in a typical 30-day period to well over 100 after Trump's so-called Liberation Day tariff announcement.
Everybody across the supply chain is trying to get their inventory here into the United States, into the West Coast market, and shield them from these tariffs in the anticipation that in the next 30 to 90 days, this will get figured out.
Until that happens, Garcia and his team are hard at work.
It's busy times on the phone and over email. It's little sleep lately.
It's an unanticipated business opportunity for an expanding company like his.
Bonded facilities have to meet specific government security requirements. Garcia says he can charge more based on demand, but operating a bonded space costs 80% more than a standard warehouse. A new affordable housing complex is set to open on VTA property in the South Bay near public transit this summer. The development is right next to the San Jose Tamian Station. Transit agency says it is the first project of its kind in 25 years. The VTA gave a tour yesterday. It comes with 135 units of affordable housing and a 3,000 square foot childcare facility. 67 of the units are designed to help move families out of homelessness, and people are expected to start moving in starting in August. A Bay Area startup taking a different approach in an attempt to try to solve the housing crisis. It is a matchmaking app, but not in the traditional way you might be thinking of. Our Itai Hod shows us how they are zeroing in on what could be an untapped market.
When most students have called it a day, Nanak Tagore is just getting started. A shooting guard for the Dominican University basketball team. He's got range, control, and a shot that rarely misses. But when it came time to find housing in the Bay Area, let's just say he was out of his league.
San Rafael is one of the most expensive places to live, so I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to live on my own.
That's when he stumbled on a startup called Joey, a platform that pairs students with homeowners who need a little help around the house. Nanak now pays about $1,700 a month for a room in Marin County. But $500 of that he works off with chores, cleaning windows, taking out the trash, sorting the mail, and yes, making lunch.
Did you even know how to cook?
The basics.
The people he lives with can use the help. Paige Miller has early-stage dementia. Her husband Robert runs a company and works long hours.
My worry actually was Paige. Would she feel comfortable having somebody else live in the house?
It gives me back my freedom, and he's great to have around, and he laughs at my jokes.
With about 60% of U.S. homes having at least one spare bedroom, the new housing frontier may already be built and gaining momentum.
It just didn't make sense to me why we couldn't have something similar to au pairs for older adults.
Joey founder and CEO Allison Donnelly says Nanak is the first student to match up, but more applications are already being processed.
What we can do at Joey Co. is create more bedroom inventory for these students.
So here's my room.
As for Nanak, he's found more than just a place to stay.
It doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like a chore to lend a helping hand.
Because sometimes the most important plays don't happen on the court.
Here's the salad.
They happen in real life.
They're colorful.
When no one's keeping score.
Are these peas any good?
Yeah, they are.
So each renter comes to a unique agreement with the homeowner that accounts for rent and how much they're able to help with chores. The Joeys are paid by the hour and are reimbursed at the end of each month. Coming up next, we're going to meet the WNBA player who has traveled all around the world playing basketball.
I just talked to my mom yesterday and I was like, Mom, I'm in Golden State. Like, I'm in San Francisco.
How Julie Van Loo is settling into her new home with the Golden State Valkyries.
In the Bay Area, a new WNBA franchise is taking flight. Catch this first-in-a-lifetime inaugural season as the Golden State Valkyries play live on KPIX and Pix Plus.
We're warming up as we head into the rest of this week's forecast. 70s turning into 80s just from today into our forecast tomorrow for our inland spots. We'll hold on tight to 80s heading into our Friday forecast, and then we're flirting back and forth with 70s turning into 80s as we head into next week's forecast. But you look at next Tuesday, it's going to be a warm one right around the corner as we head into next week with upper 80s, potentially some 90s off into the East Bay. We make our way over into the Bay. It's a little bit more mild when it comes to that warm up. We will see some upper 70s around the corner, but for now, we're flirting back and forth with upper 60s and lower 70s.
Well, the Golden State Valkyries are out in the community this week. They drove the Hoop Bus, as they call it, to Rudsdale Continuation High School in Oakland yesterday, where students got the chance to get up some shots, run some drills, and meet players from the Bay Area's newest pro sports team. Valkyries guard Minya Turi says events like these are important.
It's important to me because I believe in the future and the young especially, and I've been at their place, so to me it's like normal to give back and to teach them and also to use sport as a tools to grow.
The Valkyries plan to hold events around the community every day this week. The team is making their regular season debut at Chase Center Friday, the first official game in franchise history. There's plenty of excitement surrounding the Bay Area's newest team. Vern Glenn introduces us to one Valkyries player whose basketball career has taken her all over the globe. Her latest stop in San Francisco.
They called me J-Lou and then Lou or Lulu, and I really liked it. It's only in America that they call me this way.
Johnny Cash has nothing on J-Lou.
I started when I was 19 to be a pro in France. I went from France to Sweden. From Sweden, I went to Italy. From Italy, I went to Turkey. From Turkey, I went to Hungary. From Hungary, I went to Australia. From Australia, I went to Spain. From Spain, I went to Russia. From Russia, I went to France again. And from France, I went to Turkey, and I've been currently playing there for 2 seasons. So I've been everywhere.
But Van Loo's basketball journey started in Belgium.
We had a meeting with the whole team, and we had the whole map where everybody was coming from. And the thing is, you can't even see Belgium on the map. You need to go like zoom in for that small little country we are.
It was a long road to the W for J-Lou.
I've been dreaming since I was a little kid, and I had to wait for it until I was 31 to finally put one foot into the league. So I can't even believe that I'm going to be part of this history of the Valkyries.
But Van Loo is still adjusting to life in the big city.
See the big buildings, I just be like, damn, like, I just talked to my mom yesterday and I was like, Mom, I'm in Golden State. My dad always used to say San Francisco is the most beautiful city he's ever seen. So also for him to come back here after so many years to see me play in the WNBA, is truly special for us. Sometimes we just sit down and just feel like, whoa, I'm in the WNBA.
J-Lou might be new to the Bay Area, but it was all about her new co-worker who plays the same position for the Warriors.
I can't believe it still that I'm actually walking in the same city that he's walking around. I'm gonna be walking on the court where he's made a lot of threes and made so much history. I play with 35 actually for Kevin Durant, so definitely is a special place for me.
All that's missing from this stop is Van Loo's favorite Belgium snack.
They call it French fries, but that's a cap. It's really, we are the kings, whatever, of fries. Like I tell everybody, if you go to Belgium, you need to go to a really special fries place. We pre-cook the fries, they're extra crunchy, they're like yellow-orange, like with a good sauce. Really, it's amazing. Everybody talk about the waffles, the chocolate, fries.
Fries?
Yeah, and beer. If you allowed to drink, try the beer and the fries.
CBS News Bay Area is your home for the Valkyries. More than 30 games airing on Pix Plus. We also have a weekly show, Valkyries Experience, with behind-the-scenes access. As we celebrate AAPI Heritage Month, we are shining a light on the deep cultural roots of the Chinese community in the South Bay. In San Jose, people came together for a centuries-old tradition, honoring ancestors at an historic cemetery that holds powerful ties to the past. The Qingming Festival took place at the South Bay Historic Chinese American Cemetery. Families offering prayers and paper tributes and unveiling a monument with 300 names. Early pioneers once denied burial elsewhere, now remembered with honor.
I think it feels amazing. I think knowing what my ancestors went through, what the generation before me went through, it all just informs how I make my decisions today and how I understand my culture and my history.
You can watch the full story airing tonight at 5 o'clock on our evening edition. And you can find all of our stories for AAPI Heritage Month on our website, kpix.com. And you can catch our Legacy and Leadership Special. That is next Thursday, May 22nd at 7:30 p.m. and May 24th at 7 p.m. Coming up, it is never too late to make something old new again. How a dream of turning an old church into a second home provided a chance to help the community at the same time. It is never too late to do something you've always wanted to do. Gail King went to space, and our viewers have shared world travelers. Today, our morning anchor Reed Cowan shares something that he's always wanted to do. Mighton, Utah was once a boom town until something called the Mighton Mormon curse happened. The town dried up, leaving behind some beautiful buildings to rot, and that included the 1915 Presbyterian church that the locals had used their own money to build. That is when Reed got an idea to buy the old church and restore it to the former glory as a tribute to his grandparents and the people of the town.
There was just something about that old church out on Indian Highway, as the locals called it, in Mighton, Utah, that called to me. Knowing the old-timers, as we called them, built it with their own hands, money they had scraped together in leaner times and war times, to go to have a place to gather and a place to heal. But 101 years after the church was built, she was in rough shape. However, I drove past every time that old building near my grandma's house and thought, never too late. Outside, you can see the paint peeled, the bell and the bell tower, shipped during World War I from Pennsylvania to Utah, sat silent and still. And inside, eerie quiet, where songs once rose on Sunday mornings, it looked like a mess. Look at this, the old leaded glass window just hovered over pews sitting on red carpet, and the church was pretty dreary. So we bought it, and we got to work, inside and outside, giving the old place new life. More than one family fight, more than one need for stitches, and lots of hours put in. But we did it. My dad and I restored the old church. We got it listed on the National Register of Historic Places and welcomed back the locals.
You are standing in the oldest surviving building in Duchesne County.
We renamed the old place the 1915 Wedding Chapel and welcomed visitors from near and far to ring the bell that once called the locals to church every Sunday. Now, brides come to say their I do's in the old place that we made shine again. Never too late to follow a dream, to buy an old place and make it beautiful again, and never too late even for an old church in my Grandma Fernie's good old ghost town of Mighton, Utah.
And what is something that you've always wanted to do but maybe put off? You can share your never too late story, and it could be featured on CBS Mornings. Upload a 30 to 60 second video at nevertoolate.cbsnews.com. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ann Makovic. We're going to be right back with your first alert forecast and another look at your top stories.